Here again with another Breaking Bad Season 3 episode review video. Before I get into that though, pretty important, if you aren't caught up to the point where I am, a rewatcher, you're watching Breaking Bad, or you're just not entirely sure, then you definitely need to take the initiative and pay attention to the episode's title, which of course I'll mention as well as put in the description. If that happens to be the case and you find out that you're not caught up, it would be my recommendation that you don't watch this video any further to avoid any potential spoilers. And for those of you that are wondering, I've watched Breaking Bad many times, at least 8 times. I think this could be the 10th time watching this show. So join me and Crazy Coffee Man down in the comment section to discuss this amazing and awesome show. With that in mind, this will be Breaking Bad Season 3, Episode 3. The title of this episode is called I.F.T. And this will be my review, reaction, recap after just finishing watching the episode. And for those of you that are wondering, the I.F.T. title stands for I Fucked Ted. More on that later. So we start with a flashback of Tortuga, Danny Trejo's character, as he just wants to drink and smoke his cigar. Don Juan Bolsa comes in to talk with him. He says he knew he would find Tortuga here. He wants to give Tortuga something for his birthday. It's a tortoise. And then Tortuga is beheaded by the Salamanca twins, or the Salamanca cousins. They call them cousins, but they're twins. Walt cleans up the pizza from on top of the roof. Mike says he's still breathing and he has no idea how close he came. And I assume Saul Goodman doesn't need to know. Mum's the word. That's the conversation that Mike has on the phone. I'm guessing that conversation was with Gus Fring. Old MacDonald had a farm. In the car for Skylar. Really annoying part. She wonders why Walt's at home when she arrives. She calls. What the hell are you doing in there? It's my house and I'm staying. Skylar says she's not coming in there until Walt gets out. And Walt's like, okay, whatever. So then Skylar ends up coming in and says, what is wrong with you? He says, Walt, I don't agree with the divorce. Skylar threatens to call the police, and Walt, do what you gotta do, doesn't seem to care. So Skylar does indeed call the police, and right hand to God, I will tell them. Okay. Walt says, this family is everything to me. Without it, I have nothing. They're coming. Junior comes home and is happy to see that Dad's home. Doorbell goes off. The police have arrived. Skylar tells the officer she wants him out of the house. The house is jointly owned. Can't arrest a man for getting into his own house without a court order, at least. The officer tells Skylar there's no legal basis for them to remove Walt from the house. Junior yells at Skylar, why do you have to do this to Dad? Walt says, Junior, don't blame your mother. So, I know she's being a bitch, but just don't blame her. There's other things that you don't know. Skylar takes the baby, Holly, and goes back into the bedroom and shuts the door. We see Jesse is just sitting at his new house, well, actually his old house that's been remodeled. He just bought with Saul Goodman's help, and then Saul Goodman stops by. Saul Goodman says you shouldn't ignore your counsel's phone calls. Saul has brought Jesse a cactus as like a housewarming gift and asks if he's staying clean. He tells Jesse to get back in touch with his old partner. He wants Jesse to convince Walt to cook again. Saul Goodman says, get the maestro cooking again. That's what they want. Saul leaves and Jesse calls Jane's phone just to listen to her voicemail message. Something about do not call, which is weird because Jane's been dead for like a month or something like that now, and her phone is still active. Merkett, Hank's boss, called in a favor, and El Paso wants Agent Hank Schrader back. The Salamanca twins, or the cousins, are able to get a handicap-accessible vehicle to bring Hector Tito Salamanca to the meeting site. Don Juan Bolsa comes as well. It's a meeting with Gustavo Gus Fring. Don Juan Bolsa talks about how Walter White betrayed Tuco Salamanca, and Gus says he's doing business with Walter White, but he's not doing business yet right now. But once the business is finished, they can seek out revenge over what happened to Tuco Salamanca. Juan Bolsa says to finish his business quickly as Gus will be losing support from the cartel. And then Jesse calls Jane's phone a bunch more times. Do not call list. Walt's now sleeping in Holly's room. Skylar smoking in the bedroom while Holly cries, so she puts out the cigarette. Walt knocks and asks if Skylar wants help. No response. Walt needs to use the bathroom, and she still doesn't give a response. Don't they have 2 bathrooms in the house? Right? Or is Walter Jr. using the other bathroom? Because Walt was going to knock on their door. I don't know. So Walt goes to piss in the sink. Skylar's lawyer wants to know all the details. She is bound by attorney-client privilege. Skylar tells her lawyer Walt's a cook, a meth manufacturer. Skylar doesn't want her lawyer to go to the police because of Walt's cancer. That could come back, and she doesn't want her son to know that Walt is a drug manufacturer or drug dealer, I guess you might say. Hank and agent Steve Gomez are at a local dive bar. Hank leaves his gun leaves his gun in the car and then goes back in the bar and starts fighting with a couple of guys. They were doing passing around drugs, but I'm not really sure why Hank did this. I know he was experiencing some PTSD because he went in the bathroom and put water all over his face. But to me, this scene doesn't really make sense unless Hank wanted to die right there and that was his plan. So Jesse calls Jane's number 3 more times. The 3rd time, Jane's number is unfortunately disconnected, which is a realization and gives Jesse some really more sad feelings. And I'm surprised it was still connected this long. It's been at least 2 weeks, if not a month, since the plane crash and the death of Jane. So no, actually it was 2 weeks after the plane crash, or 2 weeks after Jane died, that Don Margolis went back to work, if memory serves me correctly. I don't know. It just shouldn't be connected still. So Jesse actually goes out to cook in the desert in the RV. Skylar comes out of her room in the morning and she sees that the duffel bag is open, laying in the middle of the floor, and Walt says, Skylar, can we talk? Steve Gomez tells Hank what he told Merkett about the whole dive bar incident and what he didn't tell him about Hank leaving his gun in the car. Walt tells Skylar he did it for us. Tuition for Junior and Holly. Health insurance for you and the kids. This money, I didn't steal it. I earned it. It doesn't belong to anyone. The things he's had to do, he's got to live with. So Skylar goes to work the next day or that day and then is in the break area messing with a copy machine, and then she actually kisses Ted Beneke, and then she asks if Ted Beneke's kids are home. Skylar comes home late that night and finds out Walt's cooking dinner, pot roast. Lewis is staying over for dinner because he does so many things for Walter Jr., apparently. Skylar tells Walt, I fucked Ted, the title of the episode, after Walt just told her he felt good about their talk earlier and honesty is good. So Walt looks pissed as Skylar says, boys, dinner, ending the episode. So good stuff here. I'm going to score this episode an 8.5 out of 10. Things are about to really pick up for Breaking Bad. Very good stuff. As far as the characters of the episode, it's kind of the same characters every episode. I shouldn't even do a character of the episode for Breaking Bad because it's usually 1 of 4 people. But I'm going to give it to Skylar and Walt and 8.5 out of 10. So you've heard everything I have to say. Now it's your turn. If you're a fan of Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, or El Camino, a Breaking Bad movie, which you should be a fan of all 3 of them, and you want to help me out with the YouTube algorithm, please be sure to Hulk smash that like button, or stab it like Dexter, or cook it like Walter White. Share the video with anybody you know. Put this video on any one of your social media platforms. Don't forget to sound off in the comment section and let me and Crazy Coffee Man know what your thoughts are. What would you score this episode of Breaking Bad, I.F.T? Who would be your character or characters of the episode? You can pick a male and female or just one. And then last but certainly not least, don't forget to hit that sub button. You're watching the video anyway. Subscribe to the channel, join the team, show your damn support, and be a part of something special. And JDev will return.